For the second Boicozine movie thing, I thought I'd grab a few vintage magazines out of my magazine archive. I haven't got a massive collection of vintage magazines, but I like to think I've got a couple of gems. Hopefully you will too. This is a magazine called L'Oeil. I think it's still going, but I think it's sort of morphed into all sorts of different things since this issue, which is the February 1970s issue. It's a French magazine that mainly deals with art and sort of very traditional types of ancient sort of art or classical art. But for a brief period during the late 60s, early 70s, they completely freaked out and started covering architecture and interiors, such as this amazing interior by Werner Panton. And you can see there's also product design, all sorts of stuff in there. Unfortunately, they didn't carry that on, so there's just this brief sort of period where they had this magazine was actually quite amazing, before receding back in sort of the neoclassical mire they were in. That was a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? You can see it's just really simple typography, really lovely big images that, you know, they've bled off the page where they can to give a sense of scale. And I should mention too, all the magazines you'll see here, they all feature sort of specialty paper, just sort of single pages inserted into various parts of the magazine. In L'Oeil, it's to denote the contents page. So you have your masthead and your contents on this lovely red stock. And that is L'Oeil. The next magazine is one you might be more familiar with. It's called Design, and I know back in Australia a lot of the public libraries would have copies of this as their tokenary design magazine on the shelves. It was produced by the Council of Industrial Design, but the magazine itself ended up sort of covering pretty much any sort of design aspect that was British at the time. So they went from just being about industrial design to being about interior design and graphic design, and in this case transport design, with some really lovely sort of information graphics in sort of flat colour. Again, this is using specialty stock to denote certain sections. This is like a introduction and contents page. It's really thick compared to the other paper, just printed in special colours. Lovely ad for a printing firm on the left there as well. Lots and lots of ads for trains and Formica and stuff. So that's Design. Oh, I should say that was the March 1963 issue. This is the Architectural Review, a magazine that's still going today, but unfortunately just is so lackluster compared to what it used to be. This issue is the December 1962 issue, and features some pretty amazing sort of 1960s architecture really, and a lot of information about town planning, which was a sort of buzzword at the time, especially with sort of London Steel reconstructing itself after, you know, various world wars and stuff. It was still a big issue, how to plan cities in the UK. So there's a lot of talk about that. They also featured sort of interior design again. And here we have some more of the specialty stock and specialty inks. So there was special colours throughout. I mean, the colour palette is quite calm. A lot of the pages are black and white if they're not on specialty stock. It seems to be the specialty stock, like here for instance, where they can actually splash out on a bit of colour and do something a bit more interesting. And it really helps break up the magazine and get you sort of moving through it. A really nice use of typewritten fonts and handwriting there. This issue is my particular favourite because it actually features the Golden Lane Estate, which is where Boicozine are broadcasting from. I don't think there's any pictures of the actual building though, but there's loads of pictures of various parts of the estate and a map of, which actually it hasn't really changed since then. But a good example of sort of robust planning there, I think. There's the Crescent House, which is actually the one that has the special heritage listing because it's such a unique building. There again, flicking through, there's more sort of specialty stock. I think I was actually trying to find the contents page because I thought it was on specialty stock, but I think in this case it isn't. The other magazines do that though.